Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Live as here.
Walaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
How are you, Vita?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Had you been to school today?
Yes.
Okay, mashallah. Okay, let's quickly begin the class. Anything and everything, let's begin with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Let's quickly seek help of Almighty Allah by the duas for seeking knowledge. Come on, Vita, recite these duas. The next dua. And this one, please. Allahumma anfa'ni bima 'allamtani wa 'allimni ma yanfa'uni wa zidni ilma. Yes, please. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. Allah, nothing is easy except that which you have made easy. If you wish, you can make the difficultiest task as the easiest one. Subhanallah, what a beautiful dua this is, right? Okay, are you ready with your textbook, pen, and a book, a rough book? Laiba? Okay, alhamdulillah. So let's quickly recap what we have studied in previous class. It is nothing but the quadrilaterals. Quadrilaterals is a figure that has 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices, right? Yes, the examples of the quadrilaterals are the square, rhombus, rectangles, parallelogram, and the trapezium, right? Okay, we had studied the first thing in the quadrilateral, that is parallelogram. What is a parallelogram, Laiba? What is a parallelogram? It has 2 opposite sides as parallel, right? Yes, both pair of the opposite sides are parallel to each other. This is a parallelogram. And what are theorems? 4 theorems. There are totally 7 theorems. The 4 are major in that. The others are converse of it, right? Now tell me, what are the 4 major theorems that we have studied? The first theorem that?
A diagonal of a
yes, beta?
divides into
yes,
congruent triangles.
2 congruent triangles. Excellent. This is the first theorem. Which is the second theorem, beta?
In a parallelogram, opposites are equal.
Excellent. Opposite sides are equal. Which is the third theorem, beta?
In a parallelogram, opposite angles are equal.
Excellent. Opposite angles are equal. Angles are equal. Excellent. What is the fourth theorem, beta?
The diagonals of parallelogram bisect each other.
Yes, bisect each other. Very good. They bisect each other into perfect 2 halves of the angles, right? Subhanallah. So these 4 are the theorems for the parallelogram. Okay. The other theorems are just the converse of all of these, right? Okay. Alhamdulillah. We'll quickly recap. Okay. The first theorem was this one: 2 triangles are congruent. And the second theorem is just that the opposite sides are equal in the parallelogram. And the third theorem is just the converse of the second theorem. And the fourth theorem is the opposite angles are equal. And fifth theorem is the converse of the fourth theorem. And the sixth theorem is nothing but diagonals of the parallelogram bisect each other. Seventh theorem is the converse of sixth theorem. That's all. And we have solved 5 example problems and 7 exercise problems in this. And alhamdulillah, we have completed the topic of the parallelogram. Now we are going to start with another topic, which is called as a midpoint theorem. Okay. You remember I had given you this one as a homework. Have you completed it as homework, beta? If not, yes. Okay, please send me the snapshot to my cell phone, okay? Today we are going to start with a theorem named the midpoint theorem. Okay, this theorem is nothing but it deals with a triangle. In the triangle, if we draw a midpoint, okay, midpoint on the 2 sides of a triangle, if we draw a midpoint on the 2 sides of a triangle, and if we join this line segment, okay, Laiba? If we join this line segment, then this line segment EF is always parallel to BC. Okay, what does the midpoint theorem states, Laiba? If there is a triangle, okay, and if you have 2 midpoints on the 2 sides of a triangle, okay, here E and F are the 2 midpoints on the 2 sides of a triangle, okay, Laiba? There are two sides of a triangle AB and AC. If you have the midpoint, what does midpoint mean? Midpoint का मतलब क्या होता है? Perfect halves ना. E is equal to AB. AF is equal to FC. If you draw a line through the midpoints of the triangle, then this line EF is always parallel to BC. Okay. The first thing is EF is parallel to BC, and the second thing is in the midpoint here is that this EF is always the half of the BC. Okay, EF is equal to half of BC. This is what is the midpoint theorem. Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, Laiba. Come on. Tell me the midpoint theorem now. Can we read this? The line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of the triangle, matlab this EF, is parallel to the third side. EF is parallel to BC and it is also half of the length of the third side. This was a statement for the midpoint theorem. Okay. Have you by-hearted it? Okay. Have you memorized it? Can you please repeat me without saying? Okay. Okay, Laiba, come on, repeat without saying. Okay, what did I tell you? Just tell me in your own words, What did I say you? If you draw a line through the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle, right, Laiba?
Yes.
If you draw a line EF through the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle, then this EF, this line segment is parallel to the another side, third side, right? This two sides are first side, second side, this is the third side. It is parallel to third side. So EF is parallel to BC. And what else comes into picture, beta? EF is always half of the base. Where is the base? BC. Okay, this is the midpoint theorem. Come on, please repeat after me. Repeat this. Come on, read it, Laiba.
The line segment joining the midpoints of two sides of triangle is parallel to the
So which is the
third
line
side.
segment? Which is the line segment, Laiba? The line
EF.
segment joining the midpoints of the two sides of a triangle. So this is EF, okay? EF is a line segment that joins two sides of a triangle. The midpoint of two sides of a triangle. E and F are the midpoints of A and AC, okay? So EF is a line segment joining this half of these two lines of a triangle, and it is parallel to which side, beta?
Third side.
EF is parallel to which side? Third side. Which is the third side here, Laiba?
BC.
Laiba? Yeah,
BC.
excellent. So EF is parallel to BC. Excellent. EF is parallel to BC. And another statement is it is also half of the length of the third side. So EF is equal to half of BC. You have to prove these two things in a midpoint theorem. This is very important theorem. This you will find in the higher classes as well. But you know, in your curriculum, you do not have to prove this one, the second part. Okay, only this part you have to prove. But still, let's consider and prove this theorem. How we are going to prove this theorem is first you will construct a triangle. Okay, you are going to construct a triangle. You are going to mark 2 points E and F, and then you are extending this EF to form another triangle, which is equal to EF is equal to FD. Okay, you're going to form another triangle EF and FD. Okay, Laiba, you have a triangle, extra triangle here. You're going to construct another extra triangle here in which EF should be equal to FD. Okay, EF is equal to FD. This is an extra construction that you're going to make. EF is equal to FD. Now, how we are going to prove this theorem? To prove this theorem, we are considering the two triangles. Which are the two triangles here, Laiba, that we can consider? First, we have to prove the congruency in the triangles, and then we are going to prove the theorem. First, let's see which are the triangles here. The triangle AEF and the triangle FDC. Okay, we'll consider these two triangles, Laiba. If we consider these two triangles, come on, tell me which points you will use to prove the congruency in these two triangles. Laiba, please tell me the points in which you can prove the congruency. First thing, we have constructed EF is equal to FD, correct?
Yes.
Why is EF is equal to FD? Because we have constructed FD equal to because of construction, correct? The first thing is because of construction, EF is equal to FD. Okay, this two is done. And the next thing, in the midpoint theorem, it's given that F is a midpoint, correct? If F is a midpoint, then which and which are equal? F is a midpoint of AC. Which and which are equal? AF is equal to? AF is equal to? FC. Yes, right? Because F is a midpoint. Which is a midpoint here? F is a midpoint, hence These two are equal. The second thing is proven. Which angle can we prove here? Vertically opposite angles are equal? Yes, correct. Angle AFE equals to angle DFC, correct? Because vertically opposite angles are equal. So, according to this, yes, yes, congruency rule, yes, AS postulate, we have proven that triangle this and triangle this are congruent, right, Laiba? Are
Yes.
these two triangles congruent now? If these two triangles are congruent, then what else comes into pictures? This is equal to this. This is equal to this. What else comes into picture, beta? DC is equal to EA, right? Why is DC equal to EA? ये और ये भी equal हो जाएगा क्यों? क्योंकि CPCT, right?
Yes.
CPCT. Yes. What else comes into picture, Laiba now? AE angle A is equal to angle C आ जाएगा क्या?
Yes.
Yes. Why is it so? Because it is also the CPCT ruling, right? Angle EAF is equal to angle FCD, right? Because of CPCT ruling. और क्या आ सकता है बेटा? What else comes into picture here? Can we not mention A is equal to CD? It is already mentioned. A is equal to CD. And what is this? Is angle is also equal. So angle A is equal to C is also equal, right? All this comes into picture because of CPCT. And one more thing, angle A is equal to angle C. What does this form, beta? It is a parallelogram, right? It becomes a parallelogram because this is an alternate opposite angles, correct? This is also an alternate opposite angles and also the CPCT. If this is an alternate opposite angles, then what we can prove that EA is parallel to CD. Is it so? Isn't this parallel? Because if they prove this and this angle are equal, then they shape angle if alternate then actually these two lines are always parallel. So line EA is parallel to CD. If EA is parallel to CD, then what? If line is parallel to CD, then the whole line EB, this whole line also becomes parallel to this whole line. So whole line is the EB is parallel to this is the thing that you have to know. So this is parallel to this. This is parallel to this. So we were here. We just proved that these two are parallel. If these two sides of this are parallel, if AB is parallel to CD and EA is parallel to CD, then we know that by proving the congruency. How did we prove the congruency here? We proved that A is equal to CD, right? If A is equal to CD, then A is equal to EB. We also know that A is equal to CD, right, Laiba? A is equal to CD, right or wrong? Why did we prove A is equal to CD? Because of the congruency in this and this triangle. If A is equal to CD, but we also know that A is equal to EB. Why did we know this? A is equal to EB? Because E is a midpoint, right? Right, Laipa? A is equal to EB. This and this are equal, right? But we know that A is equal to CD. If A is equal to CD, then this EB is equal to CD, right? Why is it so? यहाँ पे हम substitute कर सकते हैं. These two equations we have. A is equal to CD, A is equal to EB. Then CD automatically becomes equal to EB, right? Laiba, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, I'm audible, right? So CD is equal to AB. So one thing we have proven here that CD is equal to EB. Where is CD is equal to AB, beta? Show me where is CD is equal to EB. This is equal to this. If this and this are equal, okay, it's already proven. We know that EF is equal to FD, already proven. This and this are equal, okay? Then what else comes into picture? What else do we need? What else do we need? We know that this is constructed thing and this is equal to AB. So this CD is equal to BE and ED is equal to BC. If this and this are equal, this and this are equal, then it is called as a parallelogram, right, beta?
Yes.
If the opposite sides are equal, then it is called as a parallelogram. So by the property of parallelogram, what we can state that if this is parallel to this and this are equal and this are equal, then side ED is parallel to BC. That's all. This is the first thing that you have to prove here. EF is parallel to BC. If ED is parallel to BC, then its part EF is parallel to BC. This is the proof, first proof. Okay, this is the first proof. The second proof is that you have to show EF is 2 times the BC. How will we prove that? You know that EF plus FD is equal to, what is EF plus FD is equal to, beta? BC, right? We have known that in this is a parallelogram. This ED is equal to BC. Yes, we know it, right? EF plus FD is equal to BC. We know it already, but we know that EF is equal to FD, right? Do we know EF is equal to FD?
Yes.
Because of construction. So EF plus EF is equal to BC, correct? 2 times EF is equal to BC. So EF is equal to, if you drag this 2 over this side, then it becomes EF is equal to half of BC. So this is your answer. This is the midpoint theorem is proved. This is the midpoint theorem. Done, Laiba? Is it easy?
Yes.
Can you tell me how did we prove this? Can you please tell me how did you prove this? It is very important. It's very important. It's very easy. You just have to consider the first triangle here and this triangle, okay? You have to prove the congruence in these 2 triangles. Done?
Yes.
First, you are proving the congruence in this triangle and this triangle. Then what did we prove? Then we told that EA is equal to CD. Why is EA is equal to CD? Because of CPCT, correct? If this is equal to this, and we also know that this is equal to this is equal to this is equal to this. A is equal to CD, and we know that EB is equal to CD. So A is equal to EB है already हमारे पास. This is equal to this है. If this is equal to this, then this is also equal to this. So we have proven that EB is equal to CD. But we also already know that from the construction that ED is equal to PC. This and this are equal, this and this are equal. So in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. So the PCDE is a parallelogram. This we have just proven. If this is a parallelogram, if this opposite sides are equal, if it is a parallelogram, then the opposite sides are parallel as well. So ED is parallel to BC. Or we can write this whole is parallel, then EF is parallel to BC. This is the first thing that you have to prove in a midpoint theorem. EF is equal to B. EF is parallel to BC. If EF is parallel to BC, if you have proven this, then what you have to prove is this EF is half of BC. Correct, Laiba? How to prove EF is half of BC? What you have to do is consider this whole line. EF plus FD is equal to BC. We know that EF plus FD, ये line, ये पूरी line नीचे की line के लिए equal है, right? ED is equal to BC. So we already know from the parallelogram that ED is equal to BC. ED consists of EF plus FD, right? EF plus FD is equal to BC. EF plus FD का मतलब क्या है? FD is nothing but it is same as EF, right? FD is equal to EF. This FD is equal to EF, right? EF plus EF is equal to BC. Instead of FD, we can write EF. EF plus EF is equal to BC. 2 times the EF is equal to BC, and EF is equal to half of BC, correct? If you send the to this side, then it becomes half, right? So EF is equal to half of BC. This is your midpoint theorem. समझ में आ रहा है बेटा?
Yes.
Yes. So 2 things we have proven here. What to prove in the midpoint theorem, Laiba? एक चीज क्या प्रूव करते हैं मिडपॉइंट थ्योरम में? EF is parallel to
BC.
Excellent. The second thing what we prove is EF is equal to half of BC. This is the 2 things that you have to prove in any midpoint theorem. अब आपके लिए you will get some problems now. In the problems you will have to prove these 2 things. Okay. The first thing is this and this are parallel. The second thing is that EF is equal to the half of BC. Understood? If there is any doubt, stop me here and please ask me, because this is very important. You will have this in your exams. Understood, beta? Any doubts in this?
No.
No doubts, right? You have to prove 2 congruency here. This and this are equal, you have to prove. This and this are the parallel, you have to prove. If this and this are parallel, then this becomes a parallelogram. We already know, then we had proven that this and this are equal and this and this are equal. And after that, we had to prove that this is equal to half of this. That's all. After parallelogram, we have to prove half of this, and that's all is the midpoint theorem. Okay, there is a converse of midpoint theorem. The converse statement is nothing but converse matlab iska ulta hai. Okay, you just have to state it in a opposite way. You have to go from the down. This is the line drawn through the midpoint of one side of the triangle parallel to another side bisects the third side. You can this is the converse of midpoint theorem. Okay. Okay, understood. This is just the statement that you have to remember. Okay, now we'll see the example problems. The first example problem, the question that they have given.
Can I write that?
Yes, better.
Convert of midpoint.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Please write it down. The line drawn through the midpoint of one side of a triangle, मतलब ये line जो हमने draw की है EF, this is parallel to another side, this is parallel to another side, and it bisects the third side. Bisects का मतलब क्या होता है? It divides this side into perfect half. So it divides BC into halves. तो इसका मतलब ये है कि it divides the other sides in two. So half of BC is equal to EF. It's nothing but this one. So this is the converse of the midpoint theorem. The main midpoint theorem, you have to write it down because I think you have just the half statement in your textbook. Can I show you the previous slides?
Oh,
This is okay.
Yeah.
This one is the main midpoint theorem. Okay, you just have half of it, I think, in your textbook. Just this much part. This one is missing in your textbook, so you have to write this down as well. And it's also half of the length of third side. Okay, this is the actual midpoint theorem. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Sure, we'll see the problems. Problems are quite easy, but you have to just focus on each and every problem, okay, to prove this each and every statement. Okay, the first question they have given here is in a triangle ABC, D, E, F are respectively the midpoints. Okay, whenever you will see the midpoint in any question, you have to consider by default that you have to apply midpoint theorem. Okay, you have to consider by default that you're going to apply the midpoint theorem. Okay, Laiba?
Yes.
अब आप डिफरेंशिएट कैसे करते हो? पैरेललोग्राम का थ्योरम अप्लाई करूं या मिड पॉइंट थ्योरम अप्लाई करूं? तो डिफरेंशिएट करने के लिए यहाँ पे एक चीज दिया गया है, मिड पॉइंट्स. ओके, दे विल बी गिविंग मिड पॉइंट्स इन ईच एंड एवरी क्वेश्चन हियर, सो यू हैव टू कंसीडर मिड पॉइंट्स. जस्ट अ मिनट. Okay, beta. So we'll continue on with this. So we have ABC as a triangle. ABC is a triangle. Okay. Alaiba, can you hear me?
Yes.
Alaiba, can you hear me?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay,
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Come on, read this question for me, Laiba. Please read this question for me.
In triangle A, B, C, D, E, and F are respectively the midpoints of sides AB, BC, and CA.
Okay, we have midpoints. D, F, E are the midpoints in the triangle ABC. Okay, so for AB, D is a midpoint. For AC, F is a midpoint. For BC, E is a midpoint. Okay, these things are already given. Now show that triangle ABC is divided into four congruent triangles by joining D, E, F. Now you just have to prove that the congruency in all of this triangle. How will you prove the congruency in all of the triangle? Is nothing but you are going to consider the two triangles at a time. First you will consider this in this triangle, then this in this triangle. You have to just consider all of the triangles and prove the congruency. How to prove the congruency, beta? Come on, let's start with the triangles. First we'll see the first midpoint theorem because the midpoint is given. First we'll see the congruency in all of the four triangles. How can we prove this? First thing we know, what do we know? We know that D and F are midpoints, right? If D and F are midpoints, if D and F are midpoints of AB and AC, if D and F are midpoints of AB and AC, then what comes into picture, beta? DF is parallel to? Laiba, DF is parallel to BC, right? In this whole triangle, if F and D are midpoints, then DF is parallel to BC, right? Because of which theorem? DF is parallel to BC because of midpoint theorem. Excellent. The first thing, midpoint theorem. Okay, next, which things are parallel, beta? Which more things are parallel? If DF is parallel to BC, if you consider a triangle ABC, if we'll consider triangle ABC in the opposite way, इस तरह हम अगर लेंगे तो बताओ मुझे अब कौन से ये पैरेलल्स रहेंगे बेटा? If you'll consider this triangle now, beta.
EF.
Yes, ED. Sorry, ED. This and this are parallel. Yes, ED and AC are parallel. Why? AD is parallel to AC by using the midpoint theorem. Again, what is left out, beta? There's another side left out. EF. Correct. Yes, EF is parallel to
AB.
Yes, excellent. EF is parallel to AB. This is also by midpoint theorem. So, if we have proven all these are parallel to each other, then what is it, beta? 1 minute, I'll erase the side parts. You'll understand it easily. If we have proven all these are equal, all these are parallel, then can't we consider all of these are parallelograms? If we have proven that this is parallel to this, and this is parallel to this, and what more, this is parallel to this, can't we consider that there are parallelograms here? यहाँ पे एक parallelogram है, correct? हमने ये इसको इसके साथ पैरेलल किया था, तो यहाँ पे एक पैरेललोग्राम है हमारे पास, यहाँ पे एक पैरेललोग्राम है. So how many parallelograms can you find here, beta? Just tell me how many parallelograms do you find here? Isn't BDEF a parallelogram?
Yes.
BDEF is a parallelogram. And what more parallelograms can you find? यहाँ एक parallelogram दिख गया, एक और हम दिख सकते हैं यहाँ पे ADEF, correct? ADEF is another parallelogram. You can find another parallelogram. Come on, tell me which is another parallelogram. BDEF एक हुआ, ADEF एक और हुआ, एक और parallelogram है यहाँ पे. It is DFCE. Isn't it a parallelogram?
Yes.
Yes, right? So we have 3 parallelograms formed after we have proven that this and this are parallel, this and this are parallel, this and this are parallel. Why are we considering parallelogram? Is because हमें easy हो जाएगा actually congruency prove करने के लिए. We don't have to elaborate it in very big way because we have. Do you remember the theorem 1 of the parallelogram, beta? Do you remember theorem 1? Come on, please tell me what is the theorem 1 of a parallelogram? The first theorem in a parallelogram. Diagonal divides
into congruent.
Parallelogram. Yes, excellent. Into congruent triangles. यहाँ पे congruency already आ गया, इसलिए हमने इसको parallelogram prove किया है. That's all. समझ में आया? We could have proven it each. अब हमें each करने के लिए we had to prove all of these. Okay? Instead of proving all of the congruency using yes or any postulate, there's a simple method of using midpoint theorem. Midpoint theorem से हमने 3 parallel दिखाया. अगर हमने इतनी पैरेलल दिखाया तो हमने हमारे पास 3 पैरेललोग्राम्स आ गए, राइट? 3 पैरेललोग्राम्स आ गए एंड वी कैन टेल दैट हमारे पास अब 3 पैरेललोग्राम्स है. Where are these parallelograms, beta? BDEF. Where is BDEF? Now tell me where is BDEF? This is a parallelogram, right? If BDEF is a parallelogram, DE is a diagonal. If D is a diagonal, then which and which are triangles are congruent, beta? Like which and which triangles are congruent? Triangle BD is congruent to triangle DEF, correct? Correct or wrong? Lab, yes. I can't hear you. Yes, alhamdulillah. So if ADEF is a parallelogram, where is ADF? ADEF. If ADEF is a parallelogram, and then there's a diagonal DF, then it divides. What is the because of theorem 1, diagonal this DF divides the parallelogram into 2 congruent triangles. So triangle ADF is congruent to triangle DEF. 2 are done. 4 हो गए हमारे पास. And we can prove more congruency. एक और triangle बचकर है DFCE. Where is DFCE? DFCE. यहाँ पे बताओ मुझे which are 2 congruent triangles, beta? Laba, tell me soon which are the 2 congruent triangles in this parallelogram. DFEC is a parallelogram. EF is a diagonal. Then according to theorem 1, EF divides this parallelogram into 2 congruent triangles. Right or wrong? I cannot hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, understood all of this?
Yes.
So at last what you have to write? So because of theorem 1, you can just write AD is congruent to triangle this triangle is congruent to this, and this triangle is congruent to this. Then that's all. So all 4 triangles are congruent. That's all. Is your answer. Understood? It's quite easy. What did you do here, Alaiba? Just tell me, what did you do here? You just proved that this are parallel to this. Sides are parallel to each other. If sides are parallel to each other, then it is a parallelogram, right? 3 parallelograms you will get here. 1 parallelogram, 2 parallelogram, 3 parallelograms. In all of these parallelograms, we can prove that a diagonal drawn in the center of a parallelogram through the middle of the parallelogram will divide it into the 2 congruent triangles. This is the theorem 1. You can state that, and you can tell that ADF is congruent to DEF, and here DEF is congruent to DBE, and then you can say that DFE is congruent to EFC. That's all. It's very easy, right? Any doubts in this? Laiba, any doubts?
No.
No. Okay, Alhamdulillah. We have the next question. The next question that asked here, can you please read it for me? Please read it for me. Okay, the question given here is, there are equal intercepts. Okay, there are equal intercepts AB and BC. Okay, there is a line here PQ which has an equal intercept AB and BC. Okay. LMN are 3 parallel lines. It's already given. LMN are 3 parallel lines, and they are intersected by the P and Q. There is a point P and Q. These are the 2 lines which intersect it, and then they are cut off the equal intercept AB and BC. They have told you that AB is equal to BC. The first thing given here is AB equals to BC. Laiba, are you listening?
Yes.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Show that L, M, and cut off equal intercepts DE and EF. Now you have to show that, prove that. What you have to prove is DE is equal to EF. Okay, they have told AB is equal to BC. You're going to prove DE is equal to EF. How will you prove DE is equal to EF? How will you prove DE is equal to EF? I'll just tell you in a gist how we can prove. Just see here. This is one triangle, right, Taiba? ACF is one triangle, right? In this, BG is equal to BG and CF are the midpoint theorem, right? We can apply midpoint theorem for this and this. Correct? So from this you can prove G is a midpoint. If you prove G is a midpoint, then we'll consider another triangle. There is another triangle here, ADF. If you consider ADF as a triangle, then GE and AD you can prove as from this you can prove midpoint theorem for GE and AD. If you prove G and AD as a midpoint theorem, then E becomes the midpoint. If E is a midpoint, then ED is equal to DF. That's all. How will you prove this? Understood how to prove this? I cannot hear you. I need replies. I need your replies, please.
Hello.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Now quickly let's follow this. The procedure that I have told you. What should we do here is you just have to prove the midpoint theorem in both of this, and then you have to consider the second triangle and then apply the midpoint theorem and prove it. That's all. Okay, now we'll see how we are going to prove. We are going to prove that D is equal to EF. How to prove D is equal to EF is the first thing we are going to start. We are considering the triangle ACF. Okay, we are considering the triangle ACF. If we are considering the triangle ACF, then which is a midpoint in ACF beta? They have already told that in a triangle ACF, B is a midpoint, right? They have already told you that AB is equal to BC, and here B is a midpoint. If B is a midpoint, then AB is equal to BC, right? AB is equal to BC as B is the midpoint. Midpoint, okay. And by the midpoint theorem, do you know what is the midpoint theorem? By the midpoint theorem, we can tell that BG is parallel to CF, right or wrong?
Yes.
This BG is parallel to CF. First thing we have to write. BG is parallel to CF. If BG is parallel to CF, they just had told that B is midpoint. We can also consider G is a midpoint. Therefore, so G is the midpoint, right? Why is G the midpoint? Because B is a midpoint and we have applied the midpoint theorem. So G is also the midpoint of AF. G is now the midpoint of AF. एक हो गया, okay? We just proved that G is a midpoint of AF. After this, what we are going to consider is we consider the second triangle now. This triangle. Consider the triangle in triangle AGF. AGFD. AFD. Consider the triangle AFD. Now we are considering this the triangle in inverted format. This triangle beta. Okay. Now, if we know that G is a midpoint, do we know that G is a midpoint? Yes or no?
Yes.
We just proved it. Yes, because we have known that G is a midpoint. If G is a midpoint, then which and which are equal beta? AG is equal to GF, right? If AG is equal to GF and G is a midpoint, then which can we apply a midpoint theorem? Yes. Through the midpoint theorem, GE is parallel to AD. Is it right or wrong? This GE is parallel to AD by the midpoint theorem. Midpoint theorem. If GE is parallel to AD, then this remaining E. Do you know where does E stands? E stands in FD. Where is FD? यहाँ पे E है. FD यहाँ पे E है, right? So E is also the midpoint. If G is a midpoint, then E should also be the midpoint in the triangle, right? So E is the midpoint. If E is the midpoint of DF, then ED is equal to EF. That's all. Khatam. Understood?
Yes.
Laiba, can you please tell me the procedure? What did we follow here? What procedure did we follow, beta? Please repeat. First, we have considered which triangle, beta?
ACF.
ACF triangle. Then what did we do here? We proved the midpoint theorem. This is equal to this. This is a midpoint. B is a midpoint is already given. If BG is parallel to CF, then this G is midpoint of AF. Okay? पहले हमने प्रूव किया कि G is the midpoint of AF. If G is a midpoint of AF, तो हम नेक्स्ट ट्रायंगल कंसिडर करते हैं, ये वाला ट्रायंगल. G को AF का midpoint बना दिया and GE is parallel to AD by the midpoint theorem. If GE is parallel to AD, we can also tell that E is the midpoint of EF, correct? Agar E is a midpoint of EF, then ED is equal to EF. Okay, this much is done. Okay, we'll now see the exercise problems. Quickly see the exercise problem. We just have the 6 problems in these exercises. So if we'll finish this off today, inshallah. On Monday we have a test, inshallah. Okay, beta?
Okay.
You'll have a test on entire chapter. You have to come prepared for the test. Okay?
Okay.
So chalo, we'll quickly see how we'll solve this. It's very easy problems. Okay, let's start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The first question they have asked is prove that SR is parallel to AC and SR is equal to 2 times the AC. How will you prove that SR is parallel to AC? Where is SR? Here it is SR. Here it is AC. What you have to do? Tell me, Laiba. You just have to consider this triangle, right? In triangle.
Yes.
ADC. ADC हम triangle देखते हैं. Triangle ADC में हमारे पास कौन सा midpoint है? It's given. Yes is a midpoint. R is a midpoint. If yes and R are the midpoints, what is the midpoint theorem, Laiba? Quickly tell me the midpoint theorem. The line joining the midpoints of a triangle, of two sides of a triangle, is parallel to the
third side
of a triangle are equal to the are parallel to the third side of a triangle. That's all. That's all. So how to prove that SR is parallel to AC is nothing but consider the triangle ADC. Yes, consider the triangle ADC. ADC कहाँ पे है triangle बेटा? ये वाला triangle, correct? Consider the triangle ADC. Then what we can prove is yes and R are midpoints, right? Yes and R are midpoints. If yes and R are midpoints, then what we can prove by midpoint theorem? By midpoint theorem, yes, R is parallel to AC. Right or wrong? Right, this is parallel to this. If yes is parallel to AC, then do you know what else comes into picture in the midpoint theorem? Yes, R is equal to? What is SR equal to, beta? Do you know? Remember? Do you remember? Don't you remember? SR is equal to half of? AC. This is the midpoint theorem, na? SR is equal to half of AC, right?
Yes.
Yes. So SR is equal to half of AC. Half of AC. Can we not move this divided by 2 in this side? If we move it this side, 2 times SR is equal to AC. This is also proven. See here, 2 times AC. Oh, sorry, 2 times AC is equal to SR. No, it is wrong. It should be 2 times the SR is equal to AC. Okay. So we have proven 2 times the SR is equal to AC, or we can prove that SR is equal to half of AC. Okay, this is by the midpoint theorem, right, Laiba?
Yes.
ओके एक वाला प्रूव कर दिया हमने. अब नेक्स्ट देखो, नेक्स्ट उन्होंने पूछा है कि PQ is equal to SR प्रूव करो. You have to prove PQ is equal to SR. How will you prove this, Laiba? Isn't it quite easy? कि हम यहाँ क्या करते हैं पता है? यहाँ पे we know that SR is equal to half of AC, correct?
Yes.
इस ट्रायंगल में मिड पॉइंट थ्योरम अगर हम अप्लाई करते हैं तो SR is equal to half of AC. एक और ट्रायंगल कंसीडर करते हैं, नीचे वाला ट्रायंगल. नीचे वाला ट्रायंगल में PQ is equal to half of AC. Is it right or wrong? PQ is equal to half of AC. Is it right or wrong? What did we apply? We applied the midpoint theorem again towards the downer. This one, this यहाँ पे एक ट्रायंगल जो नीचे वाला ट्रायंगल है, इसमें अगर midpoint theorem हम अप्लाई करेंगे तो ये PQ is equal to the half of AC, right? By the midpoint theorem. This and this are parallel as well as PQ is equal to half of AC. यहाँ पे हमारे पास half of AC common है, so PQ is equal to SR. Right or wrong?
Right.
We have proven the second thing, PQ is equal to SR. Done. PQ is equal to SR भी हो गया, and we have proven this and this. Next they have told you to prove PQRS is a parallelogram. How to prove PQRS is a parallelogram is nothing but opposite sides equal दिखाना है. हमें SR is equal to PQ हमने दिखा दिया. Can we not show RQ is equal to SP? This and this you have to prove that they are equal. How to prove SP is equal to RQ? It is again the same procedure. You have to consider this triangle and this triangle. If you consider this both triangles, what we can prove here is can we not prove SR is parallel to AC is already done. PQ is parallel to AC is already done. If SR is parallel to AC and PQ is parallel to SR, then SR is parallel to PQ. It is already done. SR is equal to PQ is already done. Yeah, इतना तो हो गया हमारे पास. Next, what we need is PQRS is a parallelogram. To prove PQRS is a parallelogram, we already have PQ is equal to SR, right? Where is this? PQ is equal to SR. We already have. So opposite sides are equal. Hence, it is a parallelogram. That's all. Hence, it's a parallelogram. Khatam. This is your answer. Okay, beta. That's quite easy. Let's see the next problem. Okay, we have another problem here. What we are going to consider here is, there's a question, Laiba, please focus. Are you following me? Any doubts till now?
No.
Laiba, I cannot hear you. You have to reply. You have to reply to every question, please. You have to reply to every question so that it's actually online mode. I cannot understand whether you are understanding everything that I'm telling you. So please be interactive. Okay, the question they have told you here is, there is a ABCD a rhombus. Okay, rhombus के अंदर उन्होंने PQRS midpoints लिया है. Okay, Laiba, PQRS are the midpoints in this rhombus. Midpoints उन्होंने बताया है A, B, C, C, D all have a midpoint of PQRS. Okay, now show that the quadrilateral of PQRS that is formed in the middle is a rectangle. How to show PQRS is a rectangle? To show PQRS is a rectangle, what do you need, beta? PQ should be equal to RS. What you have to prove is, you have to prove this. PQ is equal to RS and PS is equal to QR. Correct? Rectangle दिखाने के लिए हमें ये और ये prove करना है. And then we can prove one angle as angle P or angle Q is equal to 90 degrees. This much you have to prove now. How will you do this? It's quite easy actually. Let me begin. Just focus how I'm going to through this problem. You just have to focus. Okay? Chalo, I'll read it. It's actually very easy, beta. Please focus and read. Okay? Please focus and learn. It will become quite easy and quite interesting. Okay? Chalo. We have A, B, C, D, This is the construction, extra construction. Okay, you have to make this construction. This is a focus. Done.
Hello.
Laiba,
Yes.
can you hear me?
No, I couldn't
Yes.
hear
Okay.
you.
Alhamdulillah. Please focus.
Hello. Hello.
Laiba, can
Hello.
you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, Beta, can you hear me now? Okay,
Yes.
Alhamdulillah. We'll solve this problem soon. We'll solve this problem soon. Come on. The first thing that you're going to consider is we are going to consider triangles now. Which triangles can we consider here to prove the congruency? Triangle DRS and triangle BPQ. Chalo. Can you see the triangle DRS and BPQ? Where is DRS and BPQ? Laiba, where is DRS and BPQ? यहाँ पे एक ट्रायंगल है छोटा वाला नीचे, यहाँ पे एक ट्रायंगल है, करेक्ट? Yes, BPQ and DRS, we are considering these two triangles. Now, what we have to prove is PQ is equal to SR. This we have to prove, and then we have to prove QR is equal to PS. To prove this, we just have to find the congruency rule in these two triangles and these two triangles. That's all. हम कैसे करते हैं इसको? I'll just quickly solve this. Just focus and see. DS is equal to BQ. Why is DS is equal to BQ? Why is DS is equal to BQ? Because it is a rhombus in which BC is equal to AD. If BC is equal to AD, we also know that S and Q are the midpoints. So BQ is equal to DS. BQ is equal to DS. This is done. Then DR is equal to BP. Correct? Why is it so? Because opposite angles of the rhombus again. Opposite sides of the rhombus again. DR and BP are the opposite sides of the rhombus, right? Then we know that angle B is equal to angle D is equal to 90 degrees. Is it right? Yes, angle B and angle D are in the rhombus because it's given already are equal to 90 degree. Hence, which is the postulate through which we can prove this? Yes, A, yes, postulate. From yes, yes, postulate. This triangle PBQ and this triangle DSR are congruent. If this and this triangle are congruent, which is the sides that can be equal, beta? PQ is equal to SR, correct? Isn't PQ is equal to SR?
Yes.
PQ is equal to SR. Why is PQ is equal to SR, beta? PQ is equal to SR because of CP, CT, corresponding parts of the congruent triangles. Done. We are done with this one and this triangle. What more triangles are left out, beta? QCR.
PS. Hello. Hello.
If QC is equal to AS and then yes, QC is equal to AS. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, your voice is actually I cannot hear in the between. It's cracking a lot.
Okay, now is it fine?
Yes.
Now is it fine?
Yes.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. And AP is equal to CR and QC is equal to AS. So the angles of the rhombus, opposite angles are equal. Angle A is equal to angle C. All this proves the SCS postulate again. From the SCS congruency, the angle, these two triangles are congruent. Hence, PS is congruent, is equal to QR. Okay?
Yeah.
We have proven two things from this. The first thing is PQ is equal to SR and QS is equal to PR. That's all. Done? If this both sides are equal, is rectangle made PQ and QS are. If this are equal, if this and this are equal and this are equal, so it is a rectangle. Is it a rectangle or a parallelogram? It is a parallelogram. And we also can prove that in a rhombus, if it is 90 degree, if the angles in the rhombus are supplementary, then the angles in this parallelogram are equal to 90 degree. That's all. Okay? That's all you have here. Okay, what you had to prove in this is it's very easy. What you had to prove was you just had to prove the congruency in all the four triangles, and after proving the congruency, the sides opposite to it were equal. That's all. एक और बार I'll explain to you. यहाँ पे हमने rhombus draw किया था, इसमें हमने एक square draw किया था. We had to prove that this is a rectangle. PQRS is a rectangle. To prove PQRS is a rectangle, we had to consider ABCD. ABCD. Okay, A हमने ये triangle consider किया था APS and QCR, and then we had considered PBQ and SDR. These two triangles we had considered. इसमें और इसमें हमने congruency prove किया. फिर SR is equal to PQ आ गया हमारे पास, and PS is equal to QR. If this is this one, then it is a parallelogram, and if this angles of the rhombus are supplementary, then the angles of the parallelogram also supplementary. Hence, angle P or angle Q is equal to 90 degree. So it is a rectangle because all the opposite sides are equal and one angle is equal to 90 degree. That's all. Okay, wasn't it easy? I'll send you the recordings. You'll understand it. If you're stuck on this problem, you just go through the recording. You'll get it. Okay. And Monday you have to write the test. Inshallah. Chalo. See, we'll see the third problem. The third problem states that there is. I'll quickly go through this problem. You just stop me if you have the doubts here. Okay. The question here asked is. The question asked here is ABCD is a rectangle. ABCD. And we have the midpoints to each one. This is P.
I have one doubt.
This is yes, beta.
How if in the question ABCD or PQRS it will be given, and
yes,
the figure is not given. So how do we know in which order to write ABCD?
Okay, let's start and write it. I'll see you how you have to write it. Okay. First, anything and everything you have to start with the left corner. Okay, left corner. Okay. If you have a triangle in this way, the first start with left corner or the starting at the first upper head. Okay, you have to start with the upper head. If this is A, then after this you have to go to the right one, B, and then you have to go to the left one, C. If it is a triangle. If it is a rectangle, then again you have to start from the upper edge. इसमें आप left side first जाते हैं, A, then B, then C, then D. Then ऐसे ही हम लोग ये देखते हैं. देखो next उन्होंने पूछा है midpoints PQRS. PQRS is a midpoints of each side. AB बोला है उन्होंने पहले. AB के लिए उन्होंने mention किया है P. P is a midpoint. Then BC respectively उन्होंने दिया है, ठीक है. BC के लिए Q is a midpoint. Then CD के लिए R is a midpoint. Okay, they mentioned it already. DA के लिए yes is a midpoint. Yes is a midpoint. इतना बताया है. Then they have told us show that the quadrilateral PQRS. अब इसको उन्होंने बोला कि you have to form a quadrilateral. PQRS is a quadrilateral, right? Now you have to show that this quadrilateral that is formed after doing this is a rhombus. Now prove that PQRS is a rhombus. This is a proof. Prove this you have to prove. How will you prove this? To prove something is a rhombus, what you have to have is, I'll just draw it in a smaller way because I need space. Okay, A B C D P Q R S. Okay, there should be a construction here because in a rhombus or anything, the diagonals that are formed in a rhombus or something is always equal to 90 degree. It's always bisect each other. Okay, we'll see that. We'll just draw this and we'll draw a diagonal for this rectangle. Okay, rectangle. This rectangle के लिए हम diagonal draw करते हैं. This is an extra construction that will help you in solving this problem. Okay, the first thing we are going to start, we are going to consider the triangles now. Okay, we are going to consider the triangle ABC at first. Okay, where is ABC, Laiba? Can you not use the pen or the mouse? Vita, can you please take up ink? Just take one more ink, the different ink, not the red one, blue one, and just mark it. Yes, okay, Alhamdulillah. ABC, can you show me where is ABC?
Yes.
Okay, now just let's consider the triangle ABC. If we consider the triangle ABC, because we want to apply midpoint theorem, what else comes into picture, Vita? Yes, excellent. Which things comes into picture now? In the triangle ABC, if you want to midpoint theorem, want to apply midpoint theorem, which things comes into picture now? PQ, right? PQ is parallel to AC. Excellent. PQ is parallel to AC. And what more, beta? What more you consider from a midpoint theorem? PQ is always half of
AC.
Yes, excellent. This is from the midpoint theorem by applying the midpoint theorem. Okay, PQ is equal to half of AC. Let's just consider this. PQ is equal to half of AC. Next, and let's consider another triangle. In triangle, ABC हो गया. अब ADC, where is ADC, Alaiba? Consider the triangle ADC. In the triangle ADC, yes and R are the midpoints, right? If yes and R are the midpoints, then yes R is parallel to. Excellent. Which is parallel to which? Yes R is parallel to AC. Excellent.
AC.
Yes R is parallel to AC. If yes R is parallel to AC, then yes R is equal to half of AC. Why is it so? Because from the midpoint theorem, we are going to apply midpoint theorem in all of these cases. Why do we apply midpoint theorem? Because in the question, if they have given the midpoint, you have to apply the midpoint theorem and solve these problems. Okay. The first thing is PQ is equal to half AC is done. SR is equal to half of AC from the two of the this one. From PQ is equal to half of AC and SR is equal to half of AC. Considering this equation and this equation, what can you consider Laiba now? Half of AC यहाँ पे है, यहाँ पे भी half of AC है. If this both are equal to half of AC, then this both are equal, right? So PQ is equal to yes sir. एक proof हमने कर दिया. PQ is equal to yes sir. देखो यहाँ पे दो sides equal prove कर दिया, right? Can we not prove in the same way RQ is equal to SP? Yes, right? How can we prove? Laiba, how can we prove that? We have to consider these two triangles now. Triangle ABD and triangle ABDC. If we consider these two triangles, again we can prove using the midpoint theorem that SP is parallel to DB and RQ is parallel to DB. If this both are parallel, then it is directly parallel. PS is parallel to QR. Okay.
Yeah.
So from this we have proven that हमने पहले वो वाला ट्रायंगल कंसिडर किया था. नेक्स्ट हमने नीचे के दो वाले ट्रायंगल्स कंसिडर किए, फिर उससे हमने ये प्रूव किया कि PS and QR are equal. Then हमने ये प्रूव किया कि SR and PQ are equal, right? How did we prove that? We just consider the two triangles and applied the midpoint theorem. That's all. Correct? A, B, C, D. Okay. What did we prove at first? PQ is equal to yes R. And second thing, फिर हमने ये दो triangles consider किया, फिर इससे हमने ये prove किया कि yes P is equal to RQ. This much is proven. Okay. After this Laiba, what did we prove at first was PQ is equal to half of AC, right? From the midpoint theorem. Yes, R is equal to half of AC from the midpoint theorem. Then we had proven that QR is equal to half of BD. Then we had proven that PS is equal to half of BD. Yes or wrong? Yes, right? All these are from the midpoint theorems in all the four triangles. Correct? अगर इतने सब equal हैं, so we also have one more thing in the rectangle. You know, in a rectangle, always the diagonals are equal. BD is equal to AC. Okay, this diagonal in the rectangle AC is equal to BD. If BD is equal to AC, if we apply this in 1, 2, 3, 4. In third and fourth equation, if we apply BD is equal to AC, then we can get PQ is equal to SR is equal to PS is equal to QR. All the sides are equal. If all the sides are equal, then PQRS is a rhombus. Okay? PQRS is a rhombus. Laiba, can you understand this? Understood? Any doubts in this?
No.
कोई doubts है आपको इसमें? It's actually perfectly easy. हमने 4 triangles consider किए हैं यहाँ पे. Each point here apply किया. PQ half of, देखो यहाँ पे it's very easy. देखो यहाँ पे PQ is half of AC. Yes, R is half of AC. PS is half of DB. RQ is half of BD. But we know that AC and BD are equal. If AC and BD are equal, then applying BD is equal to AC in the third and fourth formula, in the third and fourth equation, you will get PQ is equal to SR and QR is equal to PS, and all of these are equal. You will get all of these are equal. That's all. PQRS is a rhombus because all of the sides are equal. That's all. Okay, we have the next question here. Quickly, let's see the next question. It's quite easy. Okay, this question is quite easy. So let's see what we have to do here is they have told you that there is a trapezium here. It's the same. This problem is same as the previous problem we had done. We have to prove that this is a midpoint of this, and then you have to show this is a midpoint of this. It's very easy, Laiba. We had solved it in an example problem, second example problem. It's same as the second example problem. Can you do this as a homework?
Okay.
It's very easy. I can give you the hint if you want. You want any hints here? No, it's very easy. How you have to do is you have to consider this triangle. Then you have to tell this and this are parallel. If this and this are parallel, this is a midpoint. Already we know it. So but from the converse of the theorem, we know if E is a midpoint, then this is a midpoint. Then we have to consider this triangle. If we consider a triangle BDCB, then if this G is a midpoint, then this F is also a midpoint. By considering the midpoint theorem, GF is parallel to BC, and then from the midpoint theorem, we can prove that F is parallel to F is the midpoint of BC. That's all. We have to show that F is a midpoint of BC. This we had proven in the second example problem. Same as the second example problem. Okay, chalo, we have the next question. There is a next question here. Come on, read this for me, Alaiba. Please read this for me.
In a parallelogram, A, B, C, D, E, and F are the midpoints of sides A, B, and C, D respectively.
Yes. Show that the line segments
A and EC trisect the diagonal BD.
Okay, what does trisect mean here, Laiba? Trisect का मतलब क्या होता है? Bisect का मतलब होता है divides into two. Yeah, excellent. Now you should show that they divide it into the three equal parts. How can they divide this into the three equal parts? Is dp should be equal to pq, this should be equal to qb. What you have to prove here is dp is equal to pq, which is equal to qb. How will you prove this, beta? dq, bq, pb. You have to show that AF lines and PQ line trisects this into the three equal parts. Okay, let's start. Let's begin. Now we know that what is given, beta. ABCD is a parallelogram. Correct? There is a parallelogram. This is given. Okay. Now, if it is a parallelogram, what do we know now? If it is a parallelogram, then we know that AB is parallel to CD. Correct? And what do we know that if it is a parallelogram, then AB is parallel to CD and AD is parallel to
BC.
A line is parallel to this, right? In a parallelogram, opposite lines are parallel to each other. Yes, excellent. This is parallel to this. If all of these lines are parallel to each other, now we also know that in a parallelogram, AB is equal to CD. Why? Because opposite sides in the parallelogram are equal. Correct? Correct. Now let's consider this line AB. Okay, if this line is AB, then half of AB. Do you know what is half of AB? What is half of AB? It is nothing but this one, right? A. What is half of AB? It is A. Then what is half of CD? What is half of CD? It is nothing but FC, right? Because F is a midpoint. It's given here. E and F are the midpoints. E and F are the midpoints, correct? E and F are the midpoints on the sides of this one. Laiba, understanding it? हमें एक चीज पता है यहाँ से कि parallelogram में दो opposite sides are equal, correct? And they have told you already that E is a midpoint and F is a midpoint. If E is a midpoint, then A is equal to half of AB. Yes, AB. Excellent. Half of AB is nothing but AE, and half of DC is nothing but FC. Okay. Then we are just considering the small parallelogram. To prove the small parallelogram, we just consider the small thing. Okay. Now AE and EC are equal. Why are AE and CF equal? Because from this two, we can prove that AE is equal to CF. Correct or wrong? Because AB is equal to CD. This whole AB is equal to whole CD. So if you apply all of this here, then you will get A is equal to CF. This AE and this small parts are equal. Correct? ये और ये equal है, ये और ये equal है, इसका half भी equal है. So A is equal to CF. So now we have got that AECF is a parallelogram. Is it right or wrong? AECF is a parallelogram. Why is it a parallelogram? Because the opposite sides in a parallelogram, the small parallelogram is also a parallelogram. Correct? Okay, alhamdulillah. Now we have proved that AECF is also a parallelogram because it is half of it, this is half of it, and this is also a parallelogram. If we have proven this as a parallelogram, then we can also know that AF is parallel to. What is AF parallel to? AF is parallel to CE because it is the sides of a parallelogram. Now let's consider the triangle DQC. Where is the triangle DQC, beta? Where is the triangle DQC, beta? Why are we considering this triangle? Because we are considering this triangle because we want to apply midpoint theorem, because we have a midpoint in the topic, so we are considering this triangle at first. If we consider this triangle at first in the triangle DQC, let's consider this triangle at first and then we'll consider this triangle at first, because we have a midpoint in all both of this, right? यहाँ पे एक midpoint form हो सकता है, यहाँ पे एक midpoint form हो सकता है. So PF is parallel to CQ. Is it right? ये triangle में देखो आप, PF is parallel to CQ. And we also can write as P is the midpoint of this. Hence, F is also the midpoint of this. And then in this triangle, if this is a midpoint, then DP is equal to PQ. Right or wrong? लाइबा, हमने मिड-पॉइंट थ्योरम अप्लाई किया था यहाँ पे. अगर हमने मिड-पॉइंट थ्योरम अप्लाई किया है, PF is parallel to CQ, then DP is equal to PQ. DP is equal to PQ. And then let's consider this triangle. If we consider this triangle, QE is parallel to PA, then Q is a midpoint on this. And if we apply midpoint theorem, then PQ is equal to QB. PQ is equal to QB. So from these two equations, beta, this equation and this equation, what we can consider is DP is equal to PQ, which is equal to QB. That's all. DP is equal to PQ, which is equal to QB. Understood? You just had to apply midpoint theorem. कैसे apply किया था? इसमें एक midpoint theorem apply करना है आपको, and ये triangle में एक midpoint theorem apply करना है. तो इससे अगर अप्लाई करोगे तो this and this will become equal, right? Because P is a midpoint on this triangle and Q is a midpoint on this triangle. Then PQ is equal to DP, which is equal to QB. All these three are equal. Hence, EC trisects the diagonal PD. That's all. Done. We are done with the proof. Now we have the next question. This is quite easy, beta. I'll solve it. Just see how you are going to solve this, okay? The question is, ABC is a triangle, right angle triangle. They have told you that it is a right angle triangle. How is the right angle triangle formed, beta? Can you please do it on the screen? This is the last question. ABC is a right angle triangle. Right angle triangle में यहाँ पे 90 degree रहेगा, right? Okay. इन्होंने ABC को right angle triangle बताया है, so we will write right angled triangle. Okay, we can write it in any way. We'll see the question they have given us. It is right angled at C. तो उन्होंने C के लिए right angle बताया है. Let's write C here. Okay, then a line through the midpoint of M of the hypotenuse AB and parallel to BC. There is a line M, okay, which is parallel to, okay, we have something M of hypotenuse AB. This is a line AB. Okay, there is a line M here. There's a point M here, which is midpoint, right? This M is a midpoint of hypotenuse AB. Okay, you can write AB in this way as well. Okay, AB के लिए M is a midpoint. उन्होंने बोला है already, बेटा. Okay, then उन्होंने बोला है कि hypotenuse AB and parallel to BC. This line is parallel to BC. Okay, which is parallel to BC? They have told you. Okay, hypotenuse of AB and parallel to BC. Okay, this line intersects AC at D. Okay, it intersects AC at D. So we have to write A here. We cannot write B here. Okay, and only, okay, you have to understand it in this way. यहाँ पे A लिखना पड़ेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि क्वेश्चन इस तरह दिया गया है कि यहाँ पे M पॉइंट है एंड उन्होंने AC पर इंटरसेक्ट किया है, एक लाइन उन्होंने ड्रॉ किया है. दिस इज पैरेलल. सो फ्रॉम द स्टेटमेंट दैट इज गिवन हियर यू हैव टू ड्रॉ इट इन दिस वे इटसेल्फ. ओके ओके लाइबा, उन्होंने बताया कि AC पे हमने एक इंटरसेप्ट ड्रॉ किया था. ठीक है. Okay, alhamdulillah. Now the question is, show that D is the midpoint of AC. How will you show that D is the midpoint of AC? Aliba, you just have to apply the midpoint theorem. That's all. What will apply? You just apply the midpoint theorem in the triangle ABC. If you apply a midpoint theorem, if M is a midpoint, okay, if M is a midpoint, M is midpoint, right? It's already given. M is midpoint. If M is midpoint, then what comes into picture, beta? MD is parallel to BC, right? MD is parallel to BC. This MD is parallel to BC because of midpoint theorem, correct? Because of midpoint theorem. Hence, what we can prove is, if M is the midpoint of AB, then D is also the midpoint of AC. Okay, that's all. It is a midpoint of AC from the midpoint theorem, converse of the midpoint theorem. That's all. The next question. What is the next question, Laiba? Show that MD is perpendicular to AC. How can you prove that MD is perpendicular to AC? Where is MD? This one. Perpendicular का मतलब क्या होता है? यहाँ पे जो angle formed है, that is 90 degree. How will you prove this, beta? To prove this, what you have to do is, you know that angle ACB is equal to angle ADM. Why is ACB equal to ADM? Because it is the corresponding angles. Do you remember, if you have lines in this way, then these angles are called as the corresponding angles. Okay, if the corresponding angles are always equal, so यहाँ पे अगर angle C is equal to 90 degree, then angle ADM, the angle D is also equal to 90 degree. So angle ADM is equal to 90 degree. That's all. So MD stands perpendicular to AC. That's all. This is done. The third thing is CM is equal to MA is equal to 2AB. How will you prove this? It is again the midpoint theorem. 2 times दिखाना है हमें. Just 2 times दिखाना है. CM is equal to MA is equal to 2 times the AB. How to prove this? Where is CM? CM is here. Okay, is equal to MA is equal to 2 times the AB. How will you prove this, beta? It's actually quite easy. Let's consider triangles AMD and triangle CMD. Okay, where are the triangle AMD? AMD is here. Where is the triangle? This one. It is CMD is here. You just have to prove this is equal to this. What you have to do is you have to prove the congruency here. How to prove the congruency is nothing but AD is equal to CD because of midpoint theorem. Because of midpoint, D is a midpoint. First thing. The second thing is DM is equal to DM, right? Why is DM is equal to DM? Because it is a common side. This is common, correct? You have to prove congruency in this triangle and this triangle. That's all. Then the third thing is there is an angle equal, right? Angle C is equal to angle D is equal to 90 degree. If all of these are true and right, then from the yes congruency, these triangles are similar. If these two triangles are similar, CPCT, from CPCT we can prove that CM is equal to AM. Correct, beta? AM is equal to CM. This and this are equal. If AM is equal to CM, then we can say that AM is nothing but half of AB, right? AM is half of AB. Why is AM half of AB? Because M is a midpoint of AB, right? So CM equals to MA plus MA, which is equal to half of AB. That's all. We are done with all of the 6 problems. Alhamdulillah. Let's quickly summarize what you have studied today. Laba, you have to read this for me. Laba, please read this for me.
Parallelogram divides it into two congruent
triangles. This is the first theorem number 1, right?
Yes.
Yes, done. Next, in a parallelogram, what else comes into picture? Opposite sides are equal?
Sides are equal. Opposite
angles are equal. Theorem 2 and 3. Then the fourth thing is diagonals bisect each other. These are the 4 major theorems for a parallelogram. Okay, this much is done. The diagonals of rectangle bisect each other and are equal, and vice versa. This you have to remember while solving the problems. Okay, while solving the problems, you have to know that the rectangles, the diagonals are equal and they are bisect each other. And also you have to remember the diagonals of the rhombus bisect each other at the right angles. Okay, the next thing. Okay, read this better. Diagonals of the square bisect each other at right angles. You have to remember all of these 3 things. Okay, diagonals of the square, diagonals of the rectangle, and diagonals of the rhombus bisect each other at the 90 degree. Okay, the next question, the next point that we had learned today is the line segment joining the midpoints. What is this better? Please read this point. Read the 6th point. It is the midpoint theorem. Okay. Please read this.
Points of any 2 sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is half of it.
And half of it, right? You have understood this, right? Then the next thing is nothing but the converse of the theorem, midpoint theorem. Any doubts till whatever we have studied till now?
No.
Any doubts, Vita? No,
No.
we just have a problem to solve, the fourth problem in the exercise problem for the midpoint theorem, and then you had to solve the last problem in the previous one, as well as one example problem. You have to send me the homework, okay? Inshallah, alhamdulillah. So we have completed the entire chapter for the quadrilaterals. Alhamdulillah, I'll send you the recordings. You can listen it again, and you have to write a test on Monday, inshallah. So the complete chapter will be for the test on Monday, okay?
Okay.
Okay, inshallah. Please read it. If you have any doubts, you can ping me anytime. You can write to me. Inshallah, I'll answer you instantly. Okay? Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Have a good day. Take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.